Oh, this is so exciting. We're about to do our first P5 sketch. We're going to start coding already. Day one. I am pumped. To get ourselves started, what we're going to do is first we're going to Google Classroom, and you'll see that there's an assignment right here. It says 1.1 circles. Click that assignment, and you'll see right here it says P5 Web Editor, 1.1 circles. Click that. Now, before we do anything or explain anything about what we're going to do, I need you to sign in. If you don't sign in, none of your work gets saved, okay? So you just made your account. You should sign in. I'm going to log in with Gmail. I just personally think it's easier because then I just have one sign in. I don't have to have my own thing. So anyway, I'm all signed up. The next thing we're going to do is I've actually started this code off for you. This is my code. What I need you to do is go to File and duplicate it. And when you duplicate it, you have your own version of it. So it should say 1.1 circles copy. Now it's your own. All right, it's saving it under your own account. So it's very important that you sign in and then duplicate it. Now we're going to start coding. So probably just a few minutes ago, or maybe a little bit longer than that, I already explained something to you about how to make a sketch in P5. But you weren't doing any of the coding. This time I actually want you to do some of the coding. So you'll see I've left a few comments here for you. All right? What we're going to do is follow these comments to complete today's assignment. The first thing it says, if you read in our comments, is it says create your first circle below. So what we're going to do is create a circle. Now you might remember from what I said earlier, to create a circle, what you need is the ellipse function. So ellipse, which is a fancy way of saying circle, and then you're going to use two parentheses. And as discussed, there's three numbers we put in here. The three numbers we put in is the x-coordinate of our circle, so we're going to put it at 200. The y-coordinate of the circle, that's 200. And then how big I want it to be, we call that the radius. And so I want it to just be 50. So when we use the ellipse function, we use three numbers. It's the x-coordinate, the y-coordinate, and the radius. To make this show up on the screen, all you have to do is press the play button. And you'll see that I now have a circle at the x position of 200, the y position of 200, and a radius of 50. Now just to show you, we can make another circle. We can mess around with the circle by just changing the numbers, and you should feel free to play, okay? So an ellipse has three numbers, the x, the y, and the size of it. So let's say I want to make this circle bigger. Think to yourself, how can I make the circle bigger? Well, the way you do that is by increasing the radius. So you see this 50 right here? What if I made it 100? You see how I get a bigger circle? Let's say I really wanted a tiny circle. I could just change that to just 10. And now I have a tiny circle. And let's make it back to 50 again. I like the size of that circle. So remember, every time I want to see it, I just press this play button and it restarts the program. Now, I want you to think to yourself, how could I make this circle move to the right? Let's say I want to move it a little bit to the right. Okay? The way you could do that is just by changing the x position, right? This is the x direction. This is the y direction. So if I want to make this go to the right, all I'm going to do is change the x position. So if I make this 300, I want you to watch what happens when I press play. Notice how it goes to the right? Now let's say I make it 100. What do you think is going to happen? Now it goes to the left. Let's reset that back to 200. Now let's say I want to go up and down. Let's say I wanted the circle to move down a little bit. How can I do that? Well, that would happen by increasing the y position. I know that sounds weird that I would increase the y position, but we talked about coordinates a little earlier. So all I have to do is this, 300, and it would go down. See how it moved down a little bit? And let's say I wanted to move it up a little bit. I could just decrease that to 100, and you see how the circle moves up. Okay, so that's how we make a circle. And remember, there's just three things here, the x, the y, and the radius. Let's try that again. So let's move on to our next comment here. It says, let's try that again. Make a circle below, but in a different position. So we can make that anywhere. I encourage you to pick any numbers you want, okay? The only constriction is that it has to be between 0 and 400. Why does it have to be 400? Because our canvas is only 400 in size. So let's say I want to change the position. Let's just pick some random numbers between 0 and 100. We'll do 150, Then let's do 345. I don't know, just putting random numbers in. And let's put 50 in again. And you'll see that we get another circle. This one is at 150x, 345y, and then 50 in size. Now the next one says, okay, let's try this. Let's try to make another circle, but bigger. So I want another circle, but this time I want it to be bigger. So let's once again make an ellipse with our parentheses, and let's pick 3 numbers. So let's put it somewhere else on the screen. Let's put it at, I don't know, 250. Let's only put it at 100 for the y. And to make it bigger, how can I do that again? Well, that's right. I increase this third number. That's my radius. So I could put in like 150. And you'll see that I get a really big circle here. See? Cool. So now that we have 3 circles on our screen, what I want to do is introduce you to your challenges. Okay? What I'd like you to do is just below here, starting on line 19 or whatever line you're on, you can choose one of these 3. They don't have to be, you don't have to do all of them. You pick one of these 3. If you are not feeling very comfortable with what we just did, just try the level 1. Just make 5 more circles on the screen with different positions. Okay? That's it. Just put 5 more circles, so it should be 8 circles total, all over the screen. The next one is to have 10 circles on the screen. All right? But this one should have all different positions and different sizes. So I should see 10 circles on the screen of different sizes and different positions. And if you really want to go for the hard one, this is the toughest one. Try to make a face on the screen using these circles. All right? So then you'd have to actually make something with eyes and a mouth and a nose and some ears, maybe some hair, who knows? But I'm sure you can figure it out. And what you could do is using 10 circles or more, try to make a face. That would be the level 3 challenge. All right? That's all I got to say. And the last thing before you go, I'd have to say this, is I just want to make sure that you see this little bracket thing in here? All your code must go above this bracket. If it's below it, like here, nothing's going to happen. Okay, good luck with your challenge. That should be it. Oh, I'm so sorry. I lied to you. There's one last thing. Once you're finished, silly me, once you're finished, go back to Google Classroom, and what you're going to do is submit your work. To submit your work, I want to show you how that's done. What you're going to do is copy this link up here. All right, this is the link to your sketch, and you're going to add or create. By adding this, you're going to add a link. Okay, you're going to copy that in, and now I have your work. I can see your thing. You send it right to me. So once you've copied that link there, you just turn it in, and boom, you're done. And see right there, it says unsubmit. If you ever don't want to submit that, I mean, if you don't like what you did, you could always go back and edit it, unsubmit it, resubmit a different project. Up until when it's due, of course. All right, that is it. Now I'm actually done. All right, guys, have a wonderful day. And remember, I said this once before, but go home and kiss your mother because you are a good son or daughter, okay?